everybody. I feel like I've been set up here. Those of you who were there last year might remember that I almost lost it last year in the middle of my speech, so my goal is to try not to do this. It's very emotional for me to hear these stories, especially, while Stuart is talking, I'm sitting there going, I don't even have to talk, what he said. So anyway, I appreciate the chance to tell our continuing PLC story. Last year when I spoke, we were 12 weeks in. I talked about generally how we had spent about 2 distressing years. Cameron, rather, was basically in a stupor for 2 years, characterized by complete withdrawal from the world, basically a debilitating abdominal pain, alienation from friends and activities, a revolving door of therapists. It was basically unclear to us what the issue exactly was. It was not 100% clear that it was school-related, but in any case, because of her issues, our family was kind of teetering on the edge of dysfunction. As you said, it affects the whole family when a child is having issues. But when we found PLC, we kind of stepped back from the edge, and over those 12 weeks, our family returned to normal, which it was remarkable. It was incredibly dramatic change for us. So instead of spending days in bed, not talking to anyone, barely talking to us, Cameron would talk about her new friends at PLC. And instead of dreading to leave the house and becoming physically ill at the thought of it, if we were going to PLC, she'd be waiting out in the car for me in the morning. So, like I said, very dramatic transformation. But when I spoke last year, we were relatively new, 12 weeks. We had this kind of fear deep down that maybe it wouldn't last, maybe whatever issues were bothering Cameron at school would resurface. So while we were overjoyed to see her healthy and happy, we were just a little bit wary about what was going to happen next. In addition to that, we were concerned about the status of her education. When she first started at PLC, our primary goal, I think I remember outlining in the letter that parents were asked to write, our goals for her were to get out of the house, to socialize with people. They were very modest goals, considering where she was. So, of course, parents will worry. So the next thing we had to worry about once she was healthy was, what about her education? So over the course of, sort of the summer into the fall, our issue was, what about her education, and how will she make her way in the world without school, and how will she succeed as a high school dropout, those sort of stereotypes that Joel mentioned. We found it very tough to shake our deep-seated expectation that children should attend school and be taught things. But over the course of this year at PLC, that narrow view was challenged. At first, it's a very uncomfortable place to be. You don't really know how to explain to people. You're not comfortable with it yourself. But there were some, between the discussions with PLC staff and attendance at PLC events, we started to see that there were some prospects for some rich alternatives for Cameron, and these were alternatives that we never would have, they wouldn't have surfaced if she was in traditional school. They just wouldn't have been on the radar screen. For example, the Outside the Box series of events highlighted different opportunities, everything from gap year programs to the whole concept that an unschooler could put together a really standout college application. Something that wouldn't really occur to you if you traditionally thought of your kid as a college or as a high school dropout. So we started to that really started to turn the corner, I guess. And about a month ago, I had the opportunity to accompany Allison and some of the PLC kids up to North Star, and gained an appreciation of the vision that PLC staff has for really a vibrant, self-directed learning community. So over the year, our expectation that children must be taught things has given way to the conclusion that they just need to be allowed to learn things. And last night I asked my husband for any additional thoughts that he could share, and his reaction, I labor over this stuff. He's just he just goes, you know. And what he had to say was, it just feels right. It feels normal. You know, the stress is gone. Like you said, it's the effort that we were putting in to make Cameron conform to the norm was tremendous. And that effort is gone now. And now it's really just looking for other ways to support her, what she wants to do. So enough about Cameron's parents. Let me tell you what Cameron's been up to. Cameron has been physically well since she left school. That 12 weeks of being well at PLC just continued. Not an issue. So now it's pretty clear. It wasn't clear to us before that it was school, but in hindsight it looks like it was school. The anxiety that fueled her illness is gone. She has chosen at PLC to study philosophy, emotional intelligence. Most recently, she's included current events as a favorite subject. She completed a photography and a drawing class at Mercer County, own course for the future. She's studying math and language arts in order to prepare to take the AccuPlacer exam that will allow her to take more academic courses at Mercer County. Cameron is a PLC ambassador. She's a PLC photographer. She may be a PLC mother hen, in my perception. She volunteers at an animal shelter. She held a seasonal job in a photography studio. She works at a climbing center, which is where she is today. She is an intern at the Center for Interim Programs. Clearly, Cameron is making up for the time that she lost while she was ill. She's in the process of considering whether she wants to pursue travel or work or college, and it wouldn't surprise anyone who knows Cameron at this point if she somehow managed to do all three simultaneously. At PLC, Cameron is recognized, and her presence is valued. She feels it, and we feel it too. So our kind and compassionate Cameron is back in the form of a healthy and fully engaged young woman, and we know that she's going to make a positive impact, whatever she decides to do. Our family is thankful to Joel, Allison, Paul, and George. They've nurtured Cameron in so many ways over this past year. Thankful to the PLC kids who were so welcoming. And Cameron attends PLC at a reduced fee. So we are thankful to those whose contributions make that possible. And I hope this update on Cameron's progress provides the feedback to assure you that those contributions are invaluable. And I hope you'll continue to support PLC's efforts to help kids like Cameron learn without school. Thanks.